Welcome to Whispered Fear, the channel where nightmares find a voice and shadows come to life. If you're new here, don't miss out, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of thrill seekers who crave the dark and unknown. Tap the bell icon to ensure you're notified every time we drop a new tale that'll haunt your dreams. Tonight, we're diving into a story that's as disturbing as it is mysterious, a job that promised salvation but delivered dread. Dim the lights, lock the doors, and let's step into the chilling world of the silent call center. My name is Ariana. I was 19, a college dropout with dreams crushed under a mountain of debt, student loans, credit cards, a life spiraling out of control. I was desperate, scouring the internet for any gig that could keep me afloat. That's when Mabel, my friend with a sharp wardrobe and a sharper wit, slipped me a business card under the table at a dimly lit cafe. Her Chanel bag rested casually on her shoulder, but her eyes were nervous, scanning the room. "Don't tell anyone I gave you this," she whispered, her voice tight. "If anyone asks, you don't know me, and I don't know you." I nodded, confused but intrigued, as she vanished into the city's evening hum. The card was plain, black ink, no logo, just a phone number and an address. I called it that night, my hands trembling. A cold, mechanical voice answered, asking two questions: "Do you break under pressure?" and "Do you know anyone who works here?" I answered no to both, my voice barely steady. No background check, no resume, no pleasantries. Just an address and a time. It felt like signing up for a secret society, not a job. The call center was in a forgotten corner of the city, a squat, concrete building with smudged glass doors and windows that seemed to swallow light. Inside, the air was thick, oppressive, like breathing through wet cloth. The gray carpet was stained with patches that looked like spilled coffee, or something worse. The ceiling hummed with a low, constant drone, not from the AC but something deeper, like the building itself was alive, watching. The uneasiness wasn't just in the flickering fluorescent lights or the sterile cubicles, it was in the silence. A silence that wasn't empty but heavy, filled with something you couldn't name but felt in your bones. They called it an experiment. We weren't employees, we were subjects, cogs in some mysterious machine. The rules were drilled into us during a tense onboarding, delivered by a woman in a sleek black mask who spoke like she was reading from a script etched in stone. Arrive exactly at 6:45 a.m., not a second early or late. Wear the mask they provided, a smooth, corporate design that covered from forehead to upper lip, leaving your mouth exposed but useless. Never identify yourself. Never speak to your coworkers. And when the phone's light turned red, answer it. Listen. But never, ever speak. The masks were the first thing that unnerved me. They weren't medical or festive, they were cold, almost artistic, like something from a dystopian masquerade. They fit too perfectly, molding to your face like a second skin, but they made you faceless, anonymous. My co-workers were ghosts in those masks, moving through the cubicles like shadows. There was the woman 2 cubes down, her acrylic nails tapping a relentless rhythm as she scribbled in a crossword book. I called her Martha in my head, a name to make her human. Another, tall and brunette, ate a strawberry parfait every day, her spoon scraping the plastic cup with mechanical precision. She felt like a Debbie. We never spoke, never smiled. To speak was to break the rules, and breaking the rules meant termination. The calls were the heart of the nightmare. They came in waves, day after day, a relentless tide of terror. The phone didn't ring, it glowed, blue for waiting, red for answering. When it turned red, you picked up, pressed it to your ear, and listened. The voices were always different, but the fear was the same. A young boy, whispering, something scratching at my door. Mommy won't wake up. A woman, panting, I'm in a stairwell. It's coming up fast. The police aren't answering. A man, his voice crushed, it's pacing outside my closet. It stops when I breathe. Some described places, a hallway with glass doors, a gray carpet, the faint smell of burnt coffee. Some described us. You're wearing a mask, a voice hissed. Black gloves. I know you can help me. And then they screamed. We listened, forbidden to respond, as their pleas turned to sobs, screams, or worse, sudden silence, like they'd been erased. The assessors, our so-called managers with their flashy degrees and polished masks, insisted it was all fake. Simulations, they called them. Exposure therapy to test mental resilience. I wanted to believe them. It was easier to think the voices were code, not people. But they didn't sound like simulations. They stuttered, sobbed, begged for their children. They described monsters, things with too many limbs, eyes under beds, shadows that moved wrong. I gripped my pen, my knuckles white, until the line went dead. Then the light turned red again. The money was the only thing that kept me there. My first check wiped out my student loans, a weight I'd carried like a chain. The next bought a used car, reliable enough to dream of freedom. By month 8, I was living in a loft downtown, exposed brick, floor-to-ceiling windows, a life I never thought I'd touch. The guilt of ignoring those calls. I buried it deep, telling myself it was just a job, just data, just an experiment. But the calls stuck to me. To cope, I sketched what they described: dark figures with too long limbs, doorways splintered and bloody, staircases that spiraled into darkness. It was my release, a way to purge the images that haunted me after every shift. 8 months in, I had a routine. I arrived at 6:45 a.m., took the same creaking elevator, sat in my cubicle by the fire exit. I didn't speak, didn't look at anyone. The silence was safer. At 7 a.m., the phone activated, and I braced myself. But one Tuesday, halfway through my shift, everything shattered. I was hungover, my head throbbing from too much wine the night before, my eyes drifting to a half-finished crossword. The phone glowed red. I answered, distracted, expecting another stranger's panic. Instead, I heard her. Hello. Is anyone there? I need help. It was Mabel. Her voice, unmistakable, though faint and trembling. My heart stopped. I thought I'd grabbed my personal phone by mistake. Mabel? I whispered, the word slipping out before I could stop it. The call center froze. The hum of the building seemed to hold its breath. Masked faces turned, their eyes sharp behind the sleek designs, watching me like I'd committed a crime. My face burned with shame as I ducked below my cubicle wall, the phone still pressed to my ear. Mabel spoke again. Wait. Ariana? Her voice cracked, confused. Then she laughed, a jagged, manic sound that wasn't hers, like glass breaking in slow motion. It went on and on, chilling my blood. I slammed the phone down, my hands shaking. The room stayed silent, but I felt their stares. I'd broken the rule. I'd spoken. HR was waiting at my cubicle, a woman in a black mask clutching a notepad. She didn't speak, just motioned for me to follow. Her office was sterile, the air stale. You broke the rules, she said, her voice flat, like she was reading my obituary. I tried to explain, Mabel's voice, my mistake, but she cut me off. You're terminated. She slid a paper across her desk with an address for my severance check and a month's pay. No questions, no discussion. Just a cold dismissal. I grabbed the paper and left, the masks watching me as I passed, their silence louder than any scream. I tore off my mask in the parking lot, the daylight harsh after the dim call center. Days blurred into a haze of anger, fear, and confusion. Mabel's laugh looped in my mind, that broken, unnatural sound. I called her, but it went to voicemail. She never ignored me, not even when she was busy or sick. Something was wrong. By day 3, I needed answers. I drove to the address for my check, a glitzy hotel with marble floors and no front desk, just a wall of mailboxes. The code worked, and inside was a crisp check, as if they'd been waiting to cut me loose. Crossing the street to my car, I froze. There, on the sidewalk, was Mabel. Or something wearing her skin. Her blonde hair was too bright, her fur coat stiff, like it was draped over a mannequin. Her skin sagged, loose and leathery, her eyes hollow pits ringed with tiny, sharp teeth. Her hands were wrong, fingers twisted at unnatural angles, like broken branches. People passed her, avoiding her without looking, as if she was just another pedestrian. But she wasn't. She was a mockery of Mabel, a thing that didn't belong. I ran to the parking garage elevator, my breath ragged. As the doors closed, I heard her footsteps, slow, deliberate, too close. I drove home, too fast, my heart pounding. Every red light felt like a trap, every glance out the window a risk. I expected to see her, that thing, lurching along the sidewalk. I called friends, family, anyone, but no one answered. Full bars, no connection. I told myself it was stress, a breakdown from months of screams and silence. I just needed rest, a drink, a way to forget. In my apartment lobby, I saw her again. That thing, wearing Mabel's face, lurching toward me from the entrance. I wasn't scared anymore, just angry. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. Nobody else sees this. I shouted, but the doorman, the tenants, everyone ignored me. I marched toward it, ready to prove it was a trick. Why are you following me, creep? The smell hit me, rotten, sour, like decay. Its stomach split open, revealing a mouth of jagged teeth. It snapped, and my finger was gone, blood spraying the floor. I screamed, clutching the bloody stump. No one looked. No one stopped. I ran to my apartment, fumbled the lock, and barricaded the door. I bandaged my hand, painkillers dulling the throbbing agony. My phone was useless, number 911, no friends, just silence. The internet was dead, too. I checked the peephole, nothing, just an empty hallway. But I wasn't alone. Footsteps limped outside my door, and a shadow blocked the light underneath. Mabel's voice came through, wet and guttural. Ariana. I'm here. I need your help. I froze, clutching a kitchen knife. Don't ignore me. Say something. It grew louder, angrier. Talk. To me. Bangs erupted, on the door, the windows, the ceiling, like the building was caving in. I barricaded my bedroom, my hands shaking, and waited. Hours passed, the shadow unmoving. I slept, exhausted, only to wake to the shadow under my bedroom door. It was inside. Panic choked me. I couldn't escape. It had entered my apartment effortlessly, my bedroom door wouldn't stop it. I called every contact, desperate for a voice, but the silence wasn't empty. I heard it, a faint scrape of metal on plastic. Debbie's parfait spoon. Debbie? I begged. We worked together. Please, say something. Nothing. They wouldn't break the rules, not like I had. I laughed then, a cracked, hysterical sound, echoing Mabel's manic cackle. The calls were real. Real people, real monsters. Mabel had called, and I'd answered, dooming her. The creature went quiet, maybe savoring my breakdown. But in that madness, I found clarity. If someone responded, the creature might leave. Mabel had tried it, and I had to try, too. I remembered Martha, her crossword, her tapping nails, the Woodbrooks assisted living brochure I'd glimpsed in her purse. It was a long shot, but it was all I had. I dialed random numbers, listening for her. Call after call, nothing. The door handle rattled, the barricade creaking. Then, clacking nails. Martha. I steadied my voice, pretending calm. I'm calling about your family member at Woodbrooks. I need your last name. The clacking stopped. The door creaked open, and the creature appeared, not Mabel anymore, but a writhing mass of dark flesh, tentacles and mouth snapping wetly. Its breath was hot, 100 tiny mouths hovering over my face. Ma'am, this is an emergency, I said, eyes closed. I need a directive, or I'll call 911. Is my mom okay? Martha's voice, breaking the rules. The creature vanished, a tendril slipping out of sight. I grabbed the phone. This isn't Woodbrook. Something's coming for you. The call center intercepts your calls, the line died. I was alone, my hand throbbing, my mind reeling. Had I saved her? Or doomed her? I stayed locked in my apartment for weeks, piecing myself together with therapy and time. The money's gone, spent on healing a mind fractured by screams and shadows. The call center is still out there, profiting off real fear, real lives. I owe Mabel, Martha, and every voice I ignored. I'm going to shut it down, no matter the cost. I don't know how yet, but I'm searching, digging into records, tracking down former employees, piecing together the truth behind the experiment. It's bigger than me, bigger than any of us, but I won't stop. Not until every phone goes silent for good. If you're offered a job like this, run. Don't answer the call. Those voices aren't simulations, they're people, hunted by something evil wearing familiar faces. And if you work somewhere like this, break the rules. Speak. Save someone. Don't let the masks silence you. Be curious. Be kind. You might just save a life. Thank you for joining me on Whispered Fear. If this story sent chills down your spine, hit that subscribe button and join our community for more tales of terror. Ring the bell so you never miss a story that'll keep you awake. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever worked a job that felt wrong? Or heard a voice that didn't belong? Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep the lights on.